بدون ما يسجلوني أحسن ذاته.
Okay.
And all time start speaking to sound very annoying, and people don't like what I say, and provocative, and sometimes I can't articulate my opinion very well, so because of the educational background, technical, not humanity. But I find myself again at odds with the audience, with the people here.
What's new?
Like always, I'm different. Yeah, maybe because I lived in countries where culture is completely different, in East Europe. So what I can say about multicultural culture, I'm a little late. Yeah, I didn't hear. What do you define? How do you define multiculturalism? And how do you define culture? So I'm late. So maybe you did it. You said that without definition of cultures and multiculturalism, we can't without defining cultures. We can't talk about multiculturalism. If you mean by cultures, those people who come and blow themselves up and hit each other in Hyde Park and accuse you, stab you because of blasphemy or commit crimes, for example, in black areas like in the south, we find the rate of crimes even in East Europe, places like Boston, or how you call it, a city outside London, which is many Eastern Europe.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. Oh, Boston. Yeah, though the population of that city is like 20%, 15-20%. The crimes they commit is 75%.
Oh,
that was the
no, I'm sorry, that's just not true. I was speaking to a chief police officer from Boston recently, and he said absolutely there is no difference between the number of crimes caused by Polish people and the number of crimes caused by indigenous Boston people. There is no statistical evidence.
Okay. I lived in Bognor Regis in the south. I worked there in the southeast. Yeah. Anyway, in all cases, we have to recognize that many people come from other cultures with their bad, negative behavior, and they apply it here, and they get negative response from the society.
Sure, just like we just sent a whole bunch of people to France who were rioting in the streets about football. All cultures do that. I mean, I don't know why you were saying that there's some invasive culture from outside that's coming in here and is not behaving itself and is part of the problem. That's not culture.
If you let me finish, you understand.
No, you're absolutely right.
Everybody makes crimes, but how we react to that crimes, how we react to the bad behavior, that will make the sense. If we keep criticize, try to improve, to try to help them to improve, that's good. Yeah, that means it's all right. Everybody can commit crime, but he can improve, or he can correct himself. But sometimes here in British society, due to this, how you call it, political correctness, due to tolerance, due to multiculturalism you are calling for, we are so tolerant to those people who commit the crimes.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it that head for head there are 5 times more African, Caribbean and African men in prison? Why is it that if they're charged with the same crime as a white person, they're 4 times more likely to get a prison sentence than a non-prison sentence? Why is it that there are people literally dying in prison because they're not looked after properly, because people can't be bothered to actually run the penal system in a way that is sensible? I'm sorry, this notion that...
By interrupting me...
Political correctness, let me just deal with political correctness. Political correctness is a very, very English term. If you substitute for political correctness, being polite to people. That's what political correctness is. Political correctness is me asking you...
That's bad being polite, so that way.
You have 1 minute. I'll try to arrange this. Sorry, I'll try to arrange this. You have one whole minute to make your point and ask your question. So 1 minute to articulate your point and finish your question.
What I'm saying, I don't want to misunderstand me. That is good. It is good when we try to criticize that bad behavior and try to rectify it.
Yeah.
That is good. But to keep silent, like what we are doing, some organizations as the government, for example, this British government, which so tolerant to the special religious ideologies, which are not tolerant themselves, like Islamic ideologies, Jewish ideologies, all these kind of religious ideologies are not tolerant.
No, I agree with you.
Just a second. You want to be tolerant to them, yeah, and the foreign policy as well. British government is so tolerant to human rights violations in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, so we sell them weapons, not defensive weapons. We sell them non-lethal weapons. That means gas tiers, these all weapons to fight their own people. You understand? This electrical shock, this weapon, we sell them to the Middle East countries, and we creating crisis there, and immigrants come here, and they don't change their ideas, though they suffer from these bad ideologies in their own countries, they come here and adopt, still keeping their own ideologies, bad ideologies, and fight something.
But hang on, whose ideology is it? We're doing this to the third world, and when the third world comes back and says, you've done this to us, that's our ideology, not yours.
Andy, I'm gonna try to organize this. You need to finish your point and make a question, and then Andy will.
And the last point, this is, I think, don't misunderstand.
20 seconds.
We need to be friends with that people by telling them you are wrong. If you are interested in them being good citizens, you have to not to be tolerant to them, but telling them you are wrong.
Absolutely, no.
Yes, you don't do like that. The British very tolerant and very critical correct. The second thing is, I think this the terms of multiculturalism is outdated by under the strikes of technology, globalism, human rights, and scientific thinking is getting to it. We need to know that the rule of law is everything. Where you are in this now communications, yeah, now it's dominating the world. Where you are, you have to behave yourself and to try to contribute to the community without making trouble. And so it doesn't matter what culture you are. So thanks.
Well,
okay, I'm not sure if this falls under pluralism and if he's challenging one of multiculturalism consequences, which is plural systems and trying to ensure that you don't have a number of systems going on at the same time,
like
or a number of
Sharia
cultures, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so I think this might fall under this point.
But look, can I just agree with you very strongly about British foreign policy? I think you're absolutely right. We're utterly hypocritical. We plough millions and millions of pounds into the Saudi Air Force and Defence Force, and then we're surprised when people come over here and with funny ideas. You know, I entirely agree with you. I couldn't agree with you. I thought you put it very well.
Okay, I don't think we have that much. Yeah, Eddie? Go ahead.
I'm just really interested about something that you mentioned earlier about multiculturalism being lazy. So
not always, but if it gets lazy, then it's a very bad thing. That's what I say.
what do you think the limits are? Like, what the monitors? How could we monitor that? It can be like you did mention that you want London or Britain to be multiculturalism, but then you showed your warnings about that you don't want it to be too lazy, and then people don't care if it goes wrong, or if I understood what you said. But I'm just trying to understand the borders or the limits.
The borders, for me, multiculturalism only works if over it you have human rights, right? So if a woman says, I don't want to marry this person, I'm only 12 years old, it's my human right not to do that, then I'm afraid human rights trumps any other cultural consideration in the book, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the only way that multiculturalism can work. That's got to be the only answer, I think.
And even if she didn't say so.
And even if she didn't say so, no, quite, of course, absolutely.
That was looking for, yeah. Thank you.
Fina.
Thank you for this piece of, of information. You started your presentation by presenting two models, the French model and the British model. You know,
How to go at the French.
Juxtapose the juxtapose the multiculturalism against laicité. I think I'm a good person to talk about that because I lived under the two systems.
Ah, great. Tell me where I'm
In
going.
addition to that, I'm Sudanese, so I'm coming up with another background. What I understood from what I learned today actually is that multiculturalism is not something that is, it's a problem and that we deal with it and that's it. It's an ongoing thing. And this is actually quite refreshing for me because I thought that in Sudan we've been failing because we could not manage our multicultural society. One of the problems of Sudan is that so many cultures completely fail. But you are giving me some hope today. You gave me some hope today.
No, this
Because if in Britain, in Europe, they are just faced with a continuous, challenges with how to deal with multiculturalism, that means actually we have hope in Sudan to solve that problem.
Look, all of these really interesting words are verbs, they're not nouns. They're about processes and about, rather than about states. And one of the things we were talking about earlier on about people wanting certainty, they want nouns.
Yes.
They don't want to know in a few years' time if I do this, some things might happen and it might get a bit complicated. They want the opposite of that. They want clarity now, and that's really, that's dangerous, it seems.
That's right. So you presented the two models, but I know it might not be the right place to answer these questions, but I mean, these are just two models. I mean, I think we should, as Sudanese, produce our own model of what we understand by multiculturalism, and not being influenced again by the white man coming to tell us
because we mess it up all the time.
about that. Now, in the face of a Brexit, a possible Brexit, in the face of a possible Trump society in America.
Boris meets Trump
Absolutely.
on November the 18th. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
How do you see the world?
Well, the only thing I could say to that, Fida, thank God, is that the world is also a verb rather than a noun. Things do get worse from time to time, but they also get better. And that's why one can have no certainty about them. And, you just have to I'm afraid, for me, it's all about, the analogy I use is you have a boat and you're trying to get it up the beach and the tide comes in and you push it a bit and then the tide goes out and you have to hold it there and then you push it a bit more next time. That's the kind of process that we have. That's how change happens. It doesn't happen in revolutions in the kind of Marxist sense. And nothing is doomed either, apart from probably the human race if we don't do something about climate change. But that's an entirely different matter.
Okay, we're gonna ready and Asafao, and then I don't think we have that much time. I might give Nugud another chance to reply back because I think I overtook his point. He said so many things. Nugud, you pass your opportunity. Okay, that's fine. Really, and it's also an opportunity to thank everyone who came and our Eritrean colleagues for coming
and all of your views, which
I think I'll start where Fida stopped. The multiculturalism in Sudan and multiculturalism in Europe or in the UK. Multiculturalism in the UK is imported. Okay, in Sudan they are indigenous, so it should have been more easy to sell to everyone that look, we are different and we have to live together. This land belongs to all of us. In the UK, I think the problem is the enlightened people, the people who know why we have all these refugees, our role in the world in the last 300 years, what have you. The people who are seeing the refugees or the immigrants as a problem, they don't know this. They don't know British foreign policy, and they are just ridiculed. Nobody is taking time to say, look, this is what we are doing, and as a result, we have this problem. So we have to admit that their way of life, the way they know it, is changing. Okay, certain nursery rhymes, they are illegal now. I mean, you can be called racist or whatever by singing them. I heard my sister works in a nursery.
The Jeremy Clarkson nursery rhyme.
Yeah, and Baba Black Sheep, now it's not allowed. Christmas, you're not allowed to call it Christmas anymore.
Oh, that's
No, no,
that's
no.
not true.
That's in America.
There are areas that this is happening.
I've heard about the Christian thing.
Yeah.
They call it festive instead of
Yeah,
Christian.
so-
Festive season, that's
yeah.
our holidays, but that's America.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
even
I-
here, they are importing it. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying they are right, okay? All I'm saying is they need someone to take time and explain these things,
Yeah.
okay?
No, that's what I mean.
And they are just becoming like two tribes, okay? And they are not talking to each other.
White tribes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are two white tribes.
And we are stuck in the middle.
No, you're absolutely right, Reggie. I think that's exactly good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
And the other thing is, you were saying about recently. I mean, the terrorism was an Irish thing, but that was a means to get liberated or to get your rights from here. But the terrorism we see now is an end by itself, and it's two different things.
That's an interesting.
I mean, these guys, that's just the end. But those guys, they were asking for rights. I mean, we want this, and if you don't do this, we will do this. This one is not, and that is scary. And the politicians, they don't want to deal with it the right way, because they are too scared of alienating certain communities. But the problem is there. I mean, it's in the teaching, okay? And nobody is talking about that. Oh, these guys, they have different interpretation. Okay, so do we take these things out of our curriculum, out of the book, or do we just leave it there and pretend it's not there? So there is no open discussion. And the moment you talk about it, this is Islamophobia, or you get labeled. And the politicians are not taking a lead on this. Or this thing should be taken off politics once and for all, immigration and multiculturalism. And there should be a department.
How are we going to do that? How are we going to take it on? It is politics. That's what politics is now.
Yes, but in a way, yeah, I mean, it doesn't become an election thing. I mean, it is politics, but you don't talk about, you don't radicalize people like the Brexit are doing now. Okay, I mean, we saw an MP got murdered and killed, and
yes,
what's next?
You know, why aren't the Secret Service finding out, you know, who radicalised him, and possibly a couple of drones might be useful as well. I'm only joking, but that's what happens to Muslim people. You know, and that's what happened to the Irish. The whole prison system has only just recovered from the 1970s, when Irish people were put away without trial in Northern Ireland. So, you know, all of this stuff we have to fight for. You know, it doesn't have rights don't come easy. You know, we only got the rights we've got because people fought for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give Asafau. So we don't have that much time, so I'm gonna only give Asafau and Gassim, and we might end up with Ustaz Muhammad, and then Allah will just finalize it for the
multiculturalism is the objective behind it, from my opinion, is to make society as tolerant as possible and to lead society towards integration. We have heard the word mentioned now, integration. Alice, in your opinion, do you think multiculturalism can be a hindrance to integration?
Well, I think some of the if multiculturalism is lazy, as we were talking about earlier on, or if it's not properly resourced, if it's just seen as a benign neglect, let's leave those people over there, park them and let them get on with competing with, then of course it can be, yes. I mean, the big question for me is integrating into what? I don't understand, as a British person, I don't understand quite what I or my government is asking you guys to integrate into. I mean, what is this British? You know, is it Morris dancing? Is it like in the monarchy? I'm a Republican. You know, I mean, is anyone clear about British values? What are they?
Ayman, sorry. No, sorry, Ayman, I'm going to stop you. I'm sorry, I have to stop you. Asafau, just
sorry,
continue.
I'm
going to have to stop you as well, Andy. It's Asafau talking.
To actually be involved all activities of the country live it, the community live it. That is part of the integration. And in my opinion, integration is really a two-way system rather than one. So, as far as we can see now, probably during the second phase of the Labour government, very active policy towards integrating immigrants or asylum seekers and refugees and so on. But I don't know what was the role of the immigrant communities. So I don't know so what I'm trying to say is really it's not only part of the host country or the government, but the role of the immigrant communities as important as the host country as well.
Yeah, I think it's also Fida's point of having to put a Sudanese multiculturalism module as well, rather than waiting from someone from the white man to come and tell us what it is.
Yeah, don't do that, please.
Yeah. Okay, unfortunately we don't have that much time, so we're gonna just finish by Gassim.
I would just like to thank Mr. Mudud for giving me the opportunity. It's a quick question, and then I have to give it back to him. ROTA, when can we have a time to sit down in some sort of a workshop to help us integrate within the Sudanese community ourselves? We have a lot of racial problems. I would like from you some sort of a commitment to help us as young people to be able to integrate within ourselves. We have racial issue right up to the roof. Your organization is race on the agenda. We do have a race on the agenda. What is it?
We would love to meet you again, Yazim. We would love, if necessary, to kind of pay for young people to come and have some food as well. I think we could probably, might have a very small amount of money, probably one event. But if you can get 20 young people from Sudanese background to come and talk, and you lead it, not me, you lead it.
Okay.
So this is not white man coming and doing all this sort of funny dancing stuff. Well, dancing, we don't dance. And if we do, we look pretty stupid, I'm telling you that for sure. But if you want to work with me on how that happens, we'd love to do that, and get in touch with me.
Are you happy to share that for us to share your contact details?
I always forget to bring my business cards to important events. Share it so I'm very happy for you to, everybody here to have my details from Nana.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry, we've run out of time. I would like to thank you all again for coming. Special thanks for those who attended for the first time, who attended for the first time. And it was such a delight, Andy, to have you here. We had such a rich discussion, and I'm sure we're going back with lots of things to talk about.
Well challenged by everybody.
And we still need to have to go through Thank you very much, and that's it for us.